Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, thank you for the opportunity given to me to present my research proposal. My name is Bunga Tiara Hernovelini Putri with student number 230411000094. Today, I would like to present my research proposal entitled The Correlation Among Students' Preferred Reading Strategies, Reading Motivation, and Reading Comprehension Achievement of 11th grade students at senior high school in Palembang. Okay, reading comprehension is one of the most important skills in English learning because students need to understand information, ideas, and meaning from written text. However, many students still face difficulties in comprehending English text. Some students have limited vocabulary, difficulty in defining main ideas, difficulty understanding references, making inferences, and also low motivation in reading activities. In addition, reading comprehension is influenced by cognitive and affective factors. The first factor is reading strategies. Reading strategies help students plan, monitor, and solve problems while reading text. The second factor is reading motivation. Reading motivation encourages students to participate actively and persist during reading activities. Previous studies show inconsistent findings. Some studies found significant relationship, while others found weak or no significant relationships. Most previous studies only examined two variables, focus on university students, or use different variables such as reading habits and self-efficacy. Therefore, this study investigated the correlation among students' preferred reading strategies, reading motivation, and reading comprehension achievement of 11th grade students at senior high school in Palembang. Based on the background, the research problem of this study are the first, is there any significant correlation among students' preferred reading strategies, reading motivation, and reading comprehension achievement of 11th grade students at senior high school in Palembang? Second, how significant is the contribution of students' preferred reading strategies and reading motivation toward reading comprehension achievement? Okay, based on the research problems, the objective of this study are, first, to find out whether there is a significant correlation among students' preferred reading strategies, reading motivations, and reading comprehension achievement. Second, to identify the significant contribution of students' preferred reading strategies and reading motivation toward reading comprehension achievement. This study has theoretical and practical significances. Theoretically, the study is expected to enrich theories and previous studies related to reading strategies, reading motivation, and reading comprehension achievement. Practically, for students, this study helps students improve their reading strategies and reading motivations. For teachers, this study helps teachers understand students' reading behavior and develop effective reading instructions. For future researchers, this study can become a reference for future studies related to reading strategies, reading motivations, and reading comprehension achievement. Okay, in this study, the researcher discussed several theories related to reading, reading comprehensions, reading comprehension achievement, reading strategies, types of reading strategies, reading motivation, intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, and previous related studies. Okay, there are 4 previous studies in this research. The first study by Manoring et al. In 2024 found a significant correlation between reading strategies and reading comprehensions. The second study by Muslima et al. In 2022 also found a positive relationship between reading strategies and reading comprehension. The third study by Dewi and Savitri in 2018 found no significant correlation between reading motivations and reading comprehension. The fourth study by Aditya et al. In 2023 found a significant relationship among reading habits, reading motivation, and reading comprehension. Based on the previous studies, there are several research gaps. Most previous studies only examined reading strategies and reading comprehension, or only examined reading motivations and reading comprehension. Some studies used different variables such as reading habits, focused on university students, and were conducted outside Palembang. Few studies investigated students' preferred reading strategies, reading motivations, and reading comprehension achievement simultaneously in senior high school in Palembang. Therefore, the study combined the three variables in one correlational study. This study used quantitative research with correlational research design. The study examined the relationship among the variables without manipulations. The variables are X1 is students' preferred reading strategies, X2 is reading motivation, and Y is reading comprehension achievement. Students' preferred reading strategies refers to strategies frequently used by students while reading English text. This variable is measured using the Marcy questionnaires adapted from McSherry and Richard. There are three types of reading strategies: global reading strategies, problem-solving strategies, and support reading strategies. Reading motivation refers to students' internal and external drives that encourage them to engage in reading activities. This variable is measured using the MRK questionnaire adapted from Getter and Whitefield. Reading motivation consists of intrinsic and extrinsic motivations. Okay, the next is operational definition of reading comprehension achievement. Reading comprehension's achievement refers to students' ability to identify main ideas, find specific informations, understanding reference, guess meaning from context, and make inferences. This variable is measured using a reading comprehension test. The next is setting. This study will be conducted at Senior High School number 7 Palembang, Madrasah Aliyah number 2 Palembang, and Senior High School number 5 Palembang. These schools are selected because all schools have accreditations A, represent different educational background, and provide more comprehensive data. Population and sample. The population of this study is 11 grade students in Senior High School number 7 Palembang, Madrasah Aliyah number 2 Palembang, and Senior High School number 5 Palembang. The total population is 735 students. The study used cluster random sampling technique. The total sample is 129 students from selected classes. This study used three instruments. First, reading strategies questionnaire adapted from Marcy consisting of 30 items. Second, reading motivation questionnaire adapted from MRK consisting of 53 items. Third, reading comprehension test measuring main ideas, specific information, reference, vocabulary and context, and inference. Validity. The study used content validated through expert judgment. The instruments are validated by English lecturers and English teachers. The expert evaluates suitability of items, language clarity, grammatical accuracy, and appropriateness with students' level. Reliability refers to the consistency of the instruments. The reliability of the questionnaires is tested using Cronbach LP through SPSS. The instruments are considered reliable if the alpha value is higher than 0.70. Readability test. The readability test is conducted to ensure that reading passages are suitable for 11th grade students. The researchers adjust the text to students' level, avoids difficult vocabulary, simplifies sentence structure if necessary, consult English teachers, and conducts readability testing before administering the test. Data collection procedures. The procedure of collecting the data. The first is asking permission from schools. Second, explaining the objective and procedures to participants. Third, distributing reading strategies questionnaires. Fourth, distributing reading motivation questionnaires. Fifth, administering reading comprehension tests. And finally, collecting and analyzing data using SPSS. The data are analyzed using descriptive and inferential statistics. Descriptive statistics include mean, median, mode, standard deviations, maximum score, and minimum score. The prerequisite tests are normality tests and linearity tests. Inferential statistics include person-product moment correlation and multiple regression analysis. The significance level used is 0.05. The hypothesis testing, the first is no1. There will not be a significant correlation among students' preferred reading strategies, reading motivation, and reading comprehension achievement of 11th grade students at Senior High School in Palembang. HA1. 1. There will be a significant correlation among students' preferred reading strategies, reading motivation, and reading comprehension achievement of 11th grade students at Senior High School in Palembang. H02. Students' preferred reading strategies and reading motivation will not significantly contribute to students' reading comprehension achievement of 11th grade students at Senior High School in Palembang. HA2. Students' preferred reading strategies and reading motivation will significantly contribute to students' reading comprehension achievement of 11th grade students at Senior High School in Palembang. Okay, in conclusion, this study used quantitative correlation design to investigate the relationship among reading strategies, reading motivation, and reading comprehension achievement. The data are collected using questionnaires and reading comprehension tests. The instruments are tested for validity, reliability, and readability. The data are analyzed using descriptive statistic Pearson correlations and multiple regressions analysis through SPSS. This study aims to identify the relationship and contributions among the variables in 11th grade students at Senior High School in Palembang. Thank you very much for your attention. I will be happy to receive questions and suggestions. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.